of all, I plead innocent of all charges.
Season's greetings from Talking Elvis, the podcast.
Welcome to episode 32. We're still going strong, even though they didn't want us to. We're still here. I'm Vince Wright, and who's with me today?
And I'm Ian Gray.
So really, there's not a lot happening in the Elvis world this week that we've got to chat about. We've got BBC4, we've got a nice lot of stuff coming on the telly there. So perhaps we'll talk about that one a little bit nearer the time. But this one is our little Christmas special. So we're keeping it all festive. We're doing another top 5 today.
Yeah. It's yeah. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to make of this one.
Right.
Given my my fug this time of year.
Yeah. So you're taking from the Grinch's point of view.
Yeah, almost.
And I'm going to be more of a It's a Wonderful Life at the end of the film. Right. We're going to do a Christmas special.
Oh.
Now, I thought when we did this, does that mean we're going to do Panto? And I thought, oh, yes, we will.
Oh, no, we won't.
So we've gone for Elvis Christmassy. So in our usual format, top 5s, our top 5 Elvis Christmas songs.
Now, you people listening to me might know my attitude towards Christmas, and it's not a great one, let's face it. You think, why on earth are you doing this? But I think we've also had a discussion in the past many times, is that we would probably listen to Elvis sing the phone book. So so Christmas songs is not really an issue for me anyway. It's some wonderful stuff here.
And over the last, how many years have we done a Christmas radio show?
Pretty much every year for 10 years. I don't know.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of Elvis Christmassy shows and a lot of Christmassy shows on the radio. And watch this space, because there's another one coming up soon.
Indeed.
And it doesn't matter if you're in America, we can still listen to it on Tinterweb. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the top 5. What sort of criteria have you gone for?
I've just gone for favourites. I think I haven't
Gut
gone
feeling, and that's it.
Simple as yeah. I've I can give you an opinion on my songs, and also some also-rans as well, which didn't make the top 5, but it's just basically the ones I like, simple as, and one or two of them have got a reason behind it, others haven't, they're just in there. So I bet you've gone all nerdy on me again, have you?
I tried.
Have you gone for rare and rehearsals and all this sort of stuff?
Yeah, I've gone for what was the temperature in the studio on the day he recorded it.
It was normally July, so blooming hot, I should think.
Yeah. And he puts the fake tree up the corner and then karate chops it. And
yeah.
We've heard all the stories, haven't we, over the years? Now I have just gone gut.
Oh,
I have gone gut with a hint of What If.
Yeah, okay. There's well, that's interesting. I haven't gone down that line. I'm just wondering whether we'll get anywhere near similar on this, because there's not a great deal of catalogue to choose from. There's 2 main albums recorded in his lifetime, plus 1 or 2 tracks that sort of never made it onto albums and then appeared later on in reissues, and of course the recent years albums as well. So
I'm getting complaints into the show that I'm very unfair of how I choose who goes first. They don't think my flipping a coin is scientific enough.
I'm not sure you're unfair. I certainly think you're consistent.
So I have gone to NASA for some help.
All right. Okay.
And if I press this button here now, but it will choose who goes first. That's got to be fair, hasn't it?
Let's do that.
So I'm going to press the button now. And it's come up, you're going first.
Who would have thought? Let's go. Okay, my first one. Now, there was a couple of versions. Well, there's 3 versions of this particular song. First recorded in 1957. And I could have chosen possibly two of them. I've gone for the original. Santa Claus is Back in Town.
Ooh.
The original 1957 version. Now, the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra album did a version which was very good. Enhanced Elvis's vocal somewhat. I just...
The word you're looking for is ruined.
You wait till I get further up my list. Yeah, I mean, it beggars belief here. Now, I've been listening to these songs almost scientifically in order for this program, not unlike I normally do, and the sound of Elvis's voice in 1957 doing these Christmas tracks is just amazing, isn't it?
I think this is the opening track on the album, isn't it? And this just like must have blown you away. If you've got this rock and rolly that your dad doesn't want you to listen to, and then he not only rock and rolls, but he rock and rolls Christmas.
It's just bizarre, isn't it? It's an absolute belting track. It's a bit bluesy, it's a bit rock and rolly, and his voice, he's just on fine form, really. As simple as I can't find anything wrong with this song whatsoever. The duet album in 2008, which also had this featured, if I just bring my little thing up here, featured Winona Judd, and that was also a decent version, I thought, but didn't quite make it for me on this occasion. So
I think she is one of the stronger voices on that album. That is true.
She
enough.
really is. She's one of the standout performances without a shadow of a doubt.
But Santa Claus is Back in Town. I gotta ask, have you got it in the list twice?
No.
No, right. So I haven't got to put anything else in the right. So there's a lot of other stuff you can talk about that song, because I say he played it to death, and we did like the Judds. Lieber and Stoller.
Yeah.
So pedigree and a half, anyway, isn't it?
Very, very good, very solid. Yeah,
but it's only your number 5.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting, because it's a biggie. It's a biggie, I have to say. Like I said, I could have gone for. I scrubbed out the RPO version and went for duets or 57, so I've gone with the original.
Good stuff. And that's the 7th of September 1957.
Did you know this Elvis Christmas album from 1957 is the biggest, or according to some sources, biggest selling Christmas album of all time by an individual? It's just incredible, isn't it? That record is anywhere near up there, considering all the other Christmas songs you've had in the last 60 years. It's just...
And that leads me to one of my favourite little weird things that I like about this album is they advertised it on the telly.
Yes.
And there's an advert that turned up. I'd like to play that advert for you now.
Having a discussion about a subject close to their hearts. It's Elvis Presley and his exciting new RCA Victor Christmas album. They were listening to Elvis singing delightful holiday season songs like Peace in the Valley, also White Christmas, Here Comes Santa Claus, a full dozen seasonal favorites. And then it happened. The girls discovered 9 full-color photographs of Elvis right in the album. Now, how do you divide 9 pictures of Elvis evenly between 2 girls? Big Sis has one answer. 5 for Little Sis, 4 for herself, and to even it off, she's going to buy Elvis' latest pop recording of Treat Me Nice. And that does it. Everybody seems to be happy.
I am not going to tell this time, that's my number 2, that was my number 3. I'm going to let you wait and see. So if anything clashes, I'm not going to let on this year. Okay. Right. So my number 5 in my chart that changed, and then it changed again. I came up for this one that I would not have put in off the top of my head. Is I dragged everything into a playlist on Spotify that I could possibly find, LBC. Listened to it and went through it, put it on shuffle, and just let it flicker.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And this one, I would never have really given it much hope. If Every Day Was Like Christmas, from the 60s. So this is 1966.
Yeah.
This is it's Scotty Moore again. It's a good lineup. It's in the middle of the throwaway movies.
Yeah.
This little session with Indescribably Blue, and I Remember You, and this. Felton Jarvis at the helm. I kind of liked it. We've had a couple of different versions of it over the time, but I'm going to go. Do you know, that's the only '60s thing we really had from him that was Christmassy. So I want to go for that one.
Written by Red West, wasn't it?
Do you know? I think you're right there. I'd forgotten
Yeah,
that bit.
I think it was. Yeah, yeah.
That's good. Now
66.
I like that, and it works, and
Yeah,
it sits in there.
yeah.
And I mean, normally, you'd ask me about Christmas songs. I like the classics. I like the Slade.
You like the
Yeah,
traditional?
Slade
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Wizard is
Uh-huh.
right for me. Although last year I really got into I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas, but that was just a strange year last year. That preempted all of this, didn't it? So I think we were right to go with that. Now that '66 was good that was recorded,
Mm.
but do you remember in '67 they were clever, weren't they? They did a radio show and put it out on a reel to reel. It's a lovely collector's item. You get part of it on. What's the? You've got the CD, haven't you? The Follow That Dream, the What's Its books, Trevor's
Oh
book
yes, of course.
on the
Yes.
one CD there, and
Yeah.
you get there with the narrator and that.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Elvis's Songs of Praise books. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. It's on there as well, and I just think that was put out. That was put out as a special to plug it,
Mm.
and this song would obviously have been the key to it as well.
Indeed. Yep.
So lovely stuff there, and I haven't got a copy, but I've got it on Follow That Dream, so that'll do for me. So
Excellent.
my number 5 is If Every Day Was Like Christmas.
Good choice. Like that. Right then.
Number 4.
I'm coming home to 1971 now, and Elvis sings "The Wonderful World of Christmas." I couldn't choose too many off this, even though I'm just looking at my also rans, and there's only two that I've or three that I've actually got off that album, and this one is number 4 for me. It's gonna be "I'll Be Home on Christmas Day." I like that.
Just the straightforward
Now,
off the album.
well, there's the other version, isn't there? The more studio version that you get on Today, Tomorrow, and Forever. I think it was, or was it Close Up? One of those, one of the box sets. That was good because on the actual album itself, they sort of.
You got to make it. You got to choose which one you're having.
I'm going to go for the studio version that didn't appear on the album, because they what did they do? They almost cleaned it up on the album itself too much. I think made it too. Too
It's a
too
different
Christmassy.
arrangement. It's just a different arrangement, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
So
bluesy.
I'll be home on Christmas Day. I'm going to go from the sessions that didn't make it onto the actual album.
So you want Take 9?
That's the one. Yeah.
That's the one you want. Yes, you want Take 9. Yes,
I thought that was good
I got that
because it was a little bit bluesy, that version. Yeah. It was certainly natural, just Elvis and the band. Nothing overdubbed. And
that
I
is
think
my number 4 as well.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay. Well, we've
it's got to be that one, and you get it when you get that verse where he's talking all the kids' names and he's bought the presents, and it just sounds so real. And I think it takes 8 and 9, and the another good album that I did have was one of the Star CDs where they got all the outtakes and they spliced to make new versions up. So I think remind me about that for the radio show, and we'll play that one because it's like a take 8 and 9 mega mix, which is good. So yeah, I love that one.
Isn't it?
It's a perfect number 4.
It's slightly different as well. It's not traditional at all, is it?
No.
Which is what I like about it.
It pounds along, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Yeah.
Better than the other. So really, for me, saying the '70s Christmas album, I remember buying it and thinking, I've just got to tick it off. There is one song on that I have to fast forward. I could not listen to, but I better not say what it is yet because it might be your number 1. So there is one shocking track, and there's been many versions of it and things, and I hate every single one.
Excellent. You know what, folks? It's all right not to like a song, even if it is by Elvis. You know, it's sometimes they just don't click, and that could be any song in any language in any part of the world from any artist. So you know, just because occasionally we go out there, don't we? Occasionally we say something different, which the regular Elvis fan might not say, and that is, we don't like this song.
Yeah, and I think that's right.
If that upsets some people, then we are sorry. But music is all about opinion, and whether you like it or not, these are ours.
You've got to feel it, haven't you? You've got to feel it. If you just like because I'm supposed to. I mean, I find this generally in life. A lot of things you do because your mom and dad did, or you support them because they did, or and you can always do that. But have an opinion, and if I was having that, if I was in the boozer now, in the Loving Arms pub, and Elvis was sitting there, I would say, "Come on, what were you thinking?" Right? You know, you couldn't just go, "Oh, I love you." Yeah, that's right.
Indeed, yeah. So yeah, make a decision. Be an individual. If you don't want to go to your in-laws for your dinner next week at Christmas, then don't blooming go. You know what I mean? It's just get on with it.
What is it in Monty Python? We're all individuals. I'm not.
Indeed. Hey, good old Pythons. We do like them.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to have because we chose the same one for number 4? Are you going to have an honorary mention?
Can I have an honorary mention?
Yeah.
Can I have the weirdest honorary mention? And I know shoot me down in many different ways. And if I find my notes, I'd tell you what it was. And I've just got so many notes here. I've put it somewhere different. Here it is. Right. I love weird, right? And I love finding old obscure stuff. And there's a couple of Elvis tribute songs from other people singing about Elvis in 56. Now, what can you do? You got to go, I Want Elvis for Christmas by the Holly Twins. Fantastic, right? Not only because of its wonderful lyrics, but the Holly Twins, and it was produced by, and he appears on it, Eddie Cochran.
No.
So he does that. He does at the start. He does all the Elvis-y bit at the start.
I think we've played that on the radio show, haven't we?
Yeah, I always play that one. It's part of. It's as Christmas for me as playing Merry Christmas Baby. It's just part of Christmas. And there was one other one that I loved as well. Another one of the tributes. I Want to Spend Christmas with Elvis, which was another dodgy one. What was it talks about a heartbreak Noel, and you know, obviously the other ones talked about You Ain't Nothing But a Reindeer. They're just so good that they're bad, or they're so bad that they're good. I'm really, really not sure. But my honorary mention there goes for the 2 1956 singles, one on the Regent label, one on Rockstar Records. They're on obscure albums like Rockabilly Christmas and things, so you'll find them wherever, or YouTube. Definitely worth a listen, and a bit of Eddie Cochran never goes amiss.
This is very true, yeah. I do remember we have played the Holly Twins on the radio Christmas show before. The other one I wasn't quite so sure about. Don't know that one, but
I'll bring that one this year then.
This is coming from somebody who says, you know, what do you get a Wookiee for Christmas every blooming year as well? So, you know, well, you know.
Hi, guys. Have you been naughty or nice this year?
Naughty. Very naughty.
Naughty. I think naughty is the new nice.
Hi, guys. This is Jamie Kay from the Jungle Room podcast, and you're listening to Vince Wright and Ian Gray on the Talking Elvis podcast.
My number 3, and this is the most recognised Elvis song of them all, I think, and I've gone for the original 1957 version, and it is Blue Christmas. Didn't quite make number 1, which I thought it might have for me, but even radio stations play this.
Yeah. This is one. I mean, this is where we've had lockdown and shops weren't open. I would have heard this going around the supermarket a dozen times by now, wouldn't I?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's the most recognisable of Elvis songs. It is associated with Elvis just because it's not White Christmas, it's Blue Christmas, and it's not Elvis with the blue suede shoes and all this type of thing. So, and that's still going strong even today. I think anybody in the world would recognise that one, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And again, it's every compilation you want to make up has to have that. Didn't Shakin' Stevens do a cover of it?
Yes, he did.
In exactly the same style.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not
did,
influenced by Elvis, honest.
No,
right?
not at all. Not at all. Duets, of course, saw with Martina McBride, which was okay.
No.
The video was very good.
Well. Martina McBride never does okay. Martina McBride is excellent. She is the real McCoy.
I think that you don't like country music at all. I think you just like the people who sing it.
I mean, she's a babe and a half. But I've followed her for years, so long before she was sitting on the '68 special.
It's very clever the way they did that, isn't it? The '68 special Blue Christmas with Martina McBride. And I was quite impressed with that, and I do like the version. Wasn't listening back to it and comparing it to the original wasn't quite the same for me. Royal Philharmonic, of course, didn't need to do anything with a classic, really.
I'm holding back. I'm still holding back. So Martina McBride's version, it was okay, but she's great, and I love her stuff. And if you go and listen to Independence Day, and tell me you didn't cry your eyes out, there's something wrong with you.
And of course, we keep talking about this duets album, don't we? It wasn't a great hit in the UK, so it was more for the American market. Because I certainly hadn't heard of some of these country artists when I bought it. I bought it in Memphis at the time of its release in 2008.
Oh yes, I forgot you bought it in the Real Deal. Yes.
Yeah, and I loved it, but I was just checking all the listings and stuff like that. It didn't chart in England at all.
No, and it's funny that it is on Spotify, but like a million miles down the list.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, you can't. It's very difficult to find, isn't it?
You thought it would prop up as the top, being Christmas and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll talk more about that album a little bit later. For a reason we'll find eventually.
Indeed. So my number 3, the classic 1957 Blue Christmas.
We wish you a rockin' Christmas and a cool Yule.
Thinking about the 50s Christmas album, when you bought it, did you buy the gatefold sleeve with all the pictures? Or did you buy the one in Woolworths for 99p with the white cover and the circle?
I was actually bought the 1975 Pickwick release for my Christmas present from one of my aunts.
Excellent.
Yeah, so the Elvis Christmas album for me was a present at Christmas from 1975, and that's the first time I ever sort of had it in my then young life, and it was the Pickwick one with the picture of Elvis with his reverse speedway jacket, the blue one with the yellow stripes, and it was in a circle, wasn't it? And it was all white on the sides with a couple of hollies here and there. So.
And you're just thinking, it's just why is that an album cover for Christmas? It's bizarre, isn't it? But
well, they superimposed him with like snow in the background.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's a bit of snow, isn't there? This is the great. We must do a review. This is one for the future, folks. You heard it here first. Top 5 album covers.
Yes, indeed. Didn't you do that already with somebody else?
Well, one of my real mates.
Yeah. You cast me aside for a little while.
Yeah.
And,
well, you had to go away and think about what you'd done, and when you realised you were allowed back.
This is very true.
You know what you could do with your beer, right? Right, good stuff. So that was your number
3.
Right. Now my number 3, I've horrified myself at my choice.
Oh, which should be good.
This is in my little what if world. What if the '68 special had been the TV show that the Colonel had wanted, and we managed to get it not being an Andy Williams special. Yeah. And we got the proper comeback. And I always had this view of maybe 71, when that album came out, that they did it again.
Ideal time? What do you mean, an actual What Colonel Wants?
What the Colonel Wants, an Andy Williams special.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few tracks on there that are so cheesy
Yeah.
that they would have fitted that one. I mean, it would be lovely to have it because we could be as an appalled of that as the Star Wars Christmas special. We could be that appalled.
Yeah.
But I've always thought that if that was the case, the theme tune to that one, the way the show would start, would be Walking in a Winter Wonderland.
Okay.
In my little fantasy world.
Yeah.
So my next one is Walking in a Winter Wonderland.
Ooh, okay.
But when I played it, I'm surprised myself that I've gone for the one off the Duets album with a little bit of oomph.
Yeah. That was in my also rounds, yeah.
All right, yeah, so
and that
I've
version
gone for
from
that one
Duets, like
because I just feel it's a really good. That would have been the start of a TV show had he got into the mode of TV specials like that.
Yeah.
But I do like it, and I think as a Christmassy thing, it just makes me smile. It just really makes me smile.
It's a little bit more up tempo than the one from the 71 album, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just got a little bit of oomph.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. And the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra version is very similar to the Duets one. You can hardly tell them apart, to be quite honest with you.
Except
because they. If you don't like it, it's just rubbish.
Yeah, I'm right, you're wrong. No.
But yeah, you're right. The Duets album one is very good. They haven't done too much with it apart from just up the tempo slightly, haven't they? Which is
but I think
probably what a song like that needs, to be honest with you.
When I look at the RPO stuff, I mean, I've liked some of RPO stuff, but I think the Christmas material was too weak to be fully orchestrated like this, and so it didn't really work. When you've got a classic like In the Ghetto, you can work with it. When you've just got a bit of a throwaway ditty, it should stay a throwaway ditty. It's a bit what is it, Gilda the Lily, isn't it? Pig's ear, sow's ear, silk purse. Yes, whatever the phrase is.
But you also got to realise sometimes that music does have a life, doesn't it? You should be able to not twist it, but maybe give an alternate version here and there, as long as you don't destroy it, because you'll always have the originals.
But I would rather see something very different done with it. The RPO winner for me was what? Not Christmassy, the RPO song that they took the biggest risk with, the one that changed.
Oh, I've got a thing about you, baby. Yeah.
And that was the one. That's the one where they got balls and they said, "Let's do it different."
That's fair enough.
Yeah, and that one, and the video was nice.
Always another angle.
Yes, always another angle. So that one, I'm going to go Walking in a Winter Wonderland, but I'm going to go off for the one with the oomph off the Duets album.
It's funny. It come off the Duets album, but there was, like, he sang it on his own, didn't he? So
yeah.
Okay, let's just move this on. And you're not going to like this one. This is number 2 for me, and it's Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me, again from the 57 album, but I'm going for the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra version of it from 2017, so just 3 years ago, because I think it stays close to the original, but they've made it sort of show tuney a little bit and chosen it for, shall we say, today's market. Almost made it sound a little bit more Christmassy. I like this version a lot. I mean, I love the original, but this is my favourite. Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me from the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra album. There you go. Next.
I'm sulky.
Of course you are. I mean, if I'd have put my also rounds in instead, we would have spent the rest of the year not talking to each other.
I don't see it adds anything. I love it.
You're not trying hard enough.
I know, this is it. I'm not on the same medication as you, obviously. Jameson's just isn't doing it. Right. No, it's good that you like it, and we're not at all surprised, but you're wrong. Yeah.
And if you think back 2 or 3 weeks, that also was on my ultimate Elvis list, wasn't it? That version.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so You may have had an inkling that he may have appeared somewhere in a future show.
I've been asleep since then. I don't remember stuff. That's good. So, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, and it's still, it doesn't come away from Elvis's 1957 vocal either. I think they've enhanced that to go with the show tuney version of this song as well. So had they diminished Elvis's role in the song, then it probably would have gone back to the original for me, because it's a great song anyway. But I think they enhanced everything, including Elvis, which I was more than happy with.
Okie doke.
You're
wrong, but okay. Yes. Right. So my number 2, if I can say number two. Yeah, my number 2.
Number 9.
Thank you. Beatles show. So my number 2 has turned up in many edits, lots of different lengths. I like it. It goes on forever and ever.
Oh, I know this one. Come on.
Merry Christmas, Baby.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
And I love this one. And I'm going to go just for the straightforward off the 70s album, because that's all I had for years.
Yeah.
And I always shut my eyes and I think of this, and I can see in This Is Elvis where his mom's throwing the snowballs and all that.
Yeah.
And I just love all that. And it feels Christmassy and it feels bluesy. And when you get, a 1,000,000-hour version and a 1.5-million-hour version, and you get a little bit more, and it just makes me wonder in every session that stuff was just rubbed because it wasn't needed. Yeah, we got a 3-minute version, that'll do. And things were binned and tapes went walkabout and whatever.
Yeah.
And this for me is, in my DeLorean, go back to see Elvis in the recording studio on one of these where he goes off on one. And you've got a lot of this on the new Nashville box set that we've just had, and he just goes off on one and the band play, and you just go, this is just guys having fun.
Yeah, just rock with it, don't they?
Yeah, this could be a garage band of just lads who just want to lark about. Forget that you're in the the RCA studios, and forget that, but they're just going for it, and just love it. So I think Merry Christmas, Baby, any version, but yeah, different mixes, but love it.
It's a great song, and it's another unique to Elvis type of song. You couldn't imagine anybody else singing this, could you?
No.
And
I think the duets version doesn't add anything.
No, it doesn't. Apart from Gretchen Wilson, which she just sort of drawled along with it as if she was in the studio with the band, and just like she was an uninvited guest as far as I can see.
She'd had one Jack Daniels too many, and she enjoyed it.
That'd be like you or me turning up and joining in, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I do a bit myself,
So that was a little bit less strong, like you say. But the original bluesy, just mucking about in the studio, fantastic. That just made it just outside my top 5 because I just had to get everything else in, as is the case with most of these 5s that we do. You just have to leave stuff out, don't you? So
because you're dictated to. You have to do 5. It's great. Yeah. And is it roll on the drums time for number 1?
Well, we did say that we wouldn't tell each other what was on each other's lists. And not even interrupt it if we got the same one. No, it just so happened we got the same number 4, so that was okay. But my number 1, is your number 5.
Every Day Was Like Christmas.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And like I said, that appeared. It wasn't on the any sort of. That appeared on my Pickwick version of Elvis's Christmas album from the 1975 release.
Yeah.
And that was an extra on that album because, as they did with Camden and Pickwick back then, they bunged something else on for no apparent reason sometimes, which is good. Made them a bit unique, I suppose. So yeah, that's my number 1. I love that because I remember this song very, very well. Now, the aunt who gave this album to me, she used to live out this way when I used to live in Birmingham, and I would go and see her every now and then, come out to old Cambridgeshire. And I remember going into her local boozer in the village And it's a very traditional old pub, and they got a quiz night going on. But in between the sections of questions, they would play just random music, and it was near Christmas, so they would play random Christmas music, and it was a very atmospheric, sort of dark beams, oak beams type of pub. The lights were slightly subdued. It was a very intimate, lovely atmosphere. And I remember the guy who was doing the quiz, and he played this song in between one of the sections, and I was feeling a little bit mellow by then. I was into my third or fourth pint probably, and that just stood out for me. And it was the same aunt who bought me the record, and I said to her at the time, "This was on the album that you bought me when I was 5 years old."
Oh,
Which is just like, and that was just a moment for me.
This is good. This is a lot of moments with these, isn't there?
This is an association. It's brilliant.
Yeah, because I think of every year putting the tree and the decorations up at home when I was a kid. I would put the Elvis Christmas albums on as we did it.
Yeah.
And it is, and I can see, the curtain shut, multicolored lights on a tree, blinking like mad, tinsel everywhere, and going, that's Christmas now. And that's it. And it is that really nostalgic association, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really go sentimental too much on Elvis songs. Not really, but I do have ones that just bring back certain memories, and that is one of them. And as we're doing this top 5 Christmas album, Christmas song, sorry, that is one. And I just remember being in the moment at that moment. Like the pub was packed, but it was just me sitting at the bar there.
Yeah,
and that was like just drifting off, listening to this song, which I'd heard 100 times before, but here it was. I was now growing up and living in the moment.
If this was an Elvis documentary, they'd play Memories now, just quietly in the background. I'm filling up. Right.
So that's your number 5. My number 1, If Every Day Was Like Christmas. And I had to sort of hold that story back when you came up with that one half an hour ago.
You're going to love this then. What was your number 5?
Santa Claus is Back in Town, 1957.
My number 1.
No way!
Yes!
We've done that. We've done the
genuinely here. Santa Claus is Back in Town.
That's amazing that we've got each other's number 1s as each other's number 5, blah, blah. Yeah. Oh, man, that's weird.
For me, it's that moment of playing that 50s album and going, first track, that must have blown the world away. Yeah. And then you think, how much did Elvis love it? Then you get the 68 special where he forgets the words. Yeah. Then you've got that rehearsal in That's the Way It Is with a bit of bad language. You've got the duets. It just is an absolute darn classic. And it's the anti-White Christmas, isn't it? Because White Christmas is sickly, sweet and lovely, which is what you want it to be. And we'll watch the film umpteen times, I know. But this is your Rockin' Rebel. This is that Wildcat again. And this is...
Yeah. And again, I can't imagine anybody but Elvis singing this song.
No. And it's also top of my list of I wish I'd got Elvis singing it on film.
Yeah.
It's such a... I can just imagine the smirking and the hair flopping all over the place and just that coy look at it and it's it's a bit naughty but nice again, isn't it? What they're getting up to. But for me, all the different versions of that, and he must have loved it to have done it 50s, 60s and 70s. It must have always been on his radar.
And again, this song, like the rest of this album, it's like he was 22 years old when he recorded this, and yet he sounds like, I don't know, 30, 40 years old. His voice is just incredibly, it's deep in parts, it's high in parts, it's crisp and harsh in parts. It's got everything. And this song epitomises it.
Have everything, doesn't it? Yeah. And then, RPO ruined it.
Well, I did say there was a borderline for me on that one because I have written RPO down next to that as well. But the 57 version is something else. There's no doubt about it.
So something else, yeah. So that for me was the winner chicken dinner, and I wish that was the Blue Christmas. I wish that was the one you heard more.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah. It's surprising. It's like you just don't. You know what? Blue Christmas is probably the only Christmas song by Elvis you'll hear on the radio, any station, whether it's the BBC, whether it's your Absolutes, whether it's your Golds, wherever. You know, Blue Christmas is the only Christmas version of any Elvis song.
They'll be playing some, won't they?
They'll be playing plenty.
So watch this
Stay
space
tuned.
when we do an Elvis special.
Indeed, you watch this space, and you're going to get everything. And we don't even know how long the show is going to be. It could be an hour, it could be 2 hours. Who knows?
Day and a half.
we're just gonna take over the airwaves for a day. That's what we go. I think we've both brought something to the table there, and
so the choices, the also rans, so the honourable mentions. You know, I've got this I wish, what if theme runs through my head that we never got for Elvis. We got that radio show with the presenter, and then of course Elvis comes on and wishes you Merry Christmas. And I was sort of doing my research for this, and I was going through some files, and I just typed in Christmas and then see what was going to come up on my MP3s. And I'd forgotten, but I've got the Beatles Christmas flexi discs.
Oh my goodness.
And these were great, these fan club flexi discs.
Yeah.
And I can't believe the Colonel missed out on that. Just a little 2 or 3 minute, hello, everybody here, and I'm Joel.
Yeah.
And it was a great little thing. And I thought, why did he not do that? You know, in flexi disc terms, we really didn't, you know, we had the Truth About Me, and that was the only real use of that medium. And I thought, you know, when the Beatles were doing that, and that was huge, you'd have been in a recording studio. You know, you're making double trouble. You've got recording equipment there. You think you'd just say, hey, I'm having we're making this film and that film. And I can't believe they didn't. And that's one of those, the Colonel missed out, you know. So what did Brian Epstein have that he didn't have, that said, here's a good way of marketing to your fans? So that's another one of my Christmassy what ifs.
Well, it goes along with most of our conversations down the years in bars and pubs, doesn't it? So, you know, we'd go back in the DeLorean to about 1962 and say, you see the massive success you just had with Blue Hawaii? Whoa, stop, halt, go out of the top. Wait a minute before you sit into another movie studio. Just hang on a minute.
That's right.
You can make another one of them, but not for another couple of years, you know. There's other stuff to be getting on with.
Leave that for Doris Day for a bit.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
So what I'm going to ask you now, in some categories, in the also rans and everything, what is your absolute stinker? The one you wouldn't have put in your top 5 if I'd paid you. Is there any Christmas song that you just can't stick?
Well, I always fast forward "O Little Town of Bethlehem," to be honest with you. No matter what version that comes up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dirge. It's
like, oh my goodness! Will somebody smile in this song? You know.
No, so, I have to do the same with Silver Bells. I can't stick Silver Bells.
No,
I really loathe, hate, detest. I can't get that song.
I'm not bothered particularly about his own studio version, but his duet with Anne Murray on the Duets album, who actually wrote and sang the song in the first place, I think that's quite good. Probably taking something from the strength of her performance on it as well.
I just think it's a chronic song.
Yeah.
So yeah, her version anyway, I really dislike that. So that would be my absolute one. Have you got one there that has surprised you? Didn't make the top 5, but is there a song that surprised you?
Yes, indeed, and it's from Duets, and it's a song that I don't particularly like. It's a little bit religious for me. I'm not a great one for religious, but it is a Christmas song. But it was a duet with a lady who was my first crush in life.
Oh, man.
Olivia Newton-John and "O Come All Ye Faithful." Because Olivia Newton-John for me is just like has always been my dream.
Olivia Newton-John, yeah, I wrote to her in 1978. She still hasn't replied. So I'm a bit upset there, but I wrote to her about Greece. It said something looking. It said I got sent a postal order and everything for a picture. It's true, but I thought this the other day because we love ONJ.
Yeah.
And I listened to that one and I thought, it's a duet, it's made up, I'm not that fussed. And then I went down the list and I played something else, and I can't believe that it actually surprised me that it's not bad.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm
Don't
going to do it. I'm going to do it.
No,
I am going to say this
no.
out loud. I'm going to say that "Oh Come All You Faithful" duet with Susan Boyle
Jesus God, no.
is better than the ONJ one.
Well, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you very much, and bye.
Yeah, and that absolutely threw me. Not a big fan of duets generally, but I always go back to the Barbara Streisand one, which just sounds like she's singing with the radio on, and she's not really duetting. The Susan Boyle one, the backing track is better.
Really?
And I just felt that was, oh, hang on, this has got to be. And forget the Susan Boyle story and who she was and reality TV and all that rubbish. But just thinking, as a decent voice, I thought that kind of was, it's better than the ONJ one, and it shocked me that I thought that.
You do realise you're recording this conversation, don't you? This is going to be on record forever now.
I don't. I'm quite proud to admit it. I think it shook me, but I think it's true.
I had a bit of a falling out with certain people over this song and my refusal to play it on the radio, if I remember right.
Yes, I'll go. No, but do you know what? I think I didn't listen to it. I just hated it in principle when it came.
Maybe I've done the same.
Yeah, and then listening to do the show here, and I listened to the ONJ one, and wow, she's brilliant, and Elvis did some great songs of hers, and we love all that, and we love Grease, and even Xanadu, but don't tell anyone.
No, that's our little guilty secret.
But I actually think technically that's the better duet.
Okay.
And better than the Babs, Love Me Tender as well.
Yeah.
So there's a shocker for you.
That is a shocker.
Did you spend most of your early years thinking of Elvis, of getting, I'll be home for Christmas, and if I get home on Christmas Day, the wrong way around?
Oh, yeah.
Was that just me? No.
No, exactly the same. Yeah.
It was.
I think there's another one. Was it another one as well? Like something.
If every day was like Christmas,
coming home for Christmas or stuff.
Yeah,
like that. One or two with the words "home" and "Christmas" in the same.
It just got confusing, didn't it?
Yeah.
So I think
there's also "I'll Be Home for Christmas," and that was played at the end of, was it Lethal Weapon? I think that was quite good.
Good catch.
Yeah. That's because when you heard that, because they'd gone through the whole 2 hours of the movie, hadn't they? And they became mates at the end, and they go into the Danny Glover's house, don't they? It takes him home for Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve or something, doesn't it? And "I'll Be Home for Christmas" is playing. And you think, yes, Elvis makes it into a mainstream movie.
Was there an Elvis in Die Hard?
No.
Now I'm getting the end of those two muddled up, aren't I?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I've often done the same thing. So
I'm thinking
that was a good one. So when you got Danny Glover and Mel Gibson and Elvis pops up over the end credits, that's pretty good. Of course, your favourite country singer also duetted with him for the 2008 version of that. That was my friend Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood. No, she doesn't class as a real. She's pop. Yeah, she's not in the Martina McBride league at all. I mean, Leanne Rimes was quite a good duet. Which song was that?
Oh, Here Comes Santa Claus. That was that was very good. That could have gone to my 5, but
I think that would have got in there as one of your so runs there.
Yeah.
Did you ever? Here's a good question for you. Did you ever brave the Hallmark Channel and watch Christmas at Graceland?
I did not, and I will not. I believe we had the first playing of it about 2 weeks ago, didn't we? So,
I got to say, I watched it, when it first come out.
I've been to Graceland. I don't need some third-rate actors to tell me their story in front of it.
Third-rate? It wasn't that good.
No, I haven't. I'm not. No,
yeah, but I see now it crops up on Movies 24 every 14 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's lovely to watch with the sound.
Hey, if that's
Put
what
these
you like,
albums on and
yeah.
turn the sound off, and just look at Graceland lit up beautifully.
Listen, folks, if that's what you like, then good luck to you. But it's
Yeah.
it's a wonderful way to see somewhere that you haven't been to, or you're not likely to maybe go to. It does show it off well, in all fairness, but it's not for me.
Yeah. Have you got any other Christmassy doings?
I quite liked a B-side. It won't seem like Christmas without you. I quite enjoyed that one. That was in the top 10 certainly.
Yeah.
That was a slightly different song as well. It was like a bit of the opening and whatnot. It was I quite like that one. So that's.
So what have we got then? That's that Mammoth session in 71, the May session in 1971. I wonder if we'll get a complete box set done for that at some point.
Yeah, because we've had lots of different compilations over the years, haven't we, for the various Christmas outings for Elvis. And I think once every 7 or 8 years they bring one out and it goes to the top 10 or top 20, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a compilation of all of these different sessions for different years.
Well, I'm just thinking of just like we've just had with the Nashville session.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
This session, because you've got He Touched Me album in there, and you've got all these others. If we could strip them back to what we've just had with the 70s album, and they get that produced the same and engineered the same, I reckon we could have a few Christmas songs then that we'd be quite shocked that shoot up our rating, because they are a bit sickly sweet, aren't they? Some of them, the girly singers, the overproduced. And we go back to basics, and we love it. I'm thinking, looking at the list again here, Walking in a Winter Wonderland. Then he does a million-hour version of Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. So, what was the conversation going on? The Wonderful World of Christmas, that's another one that would have been a cheesy TV theme.
That's an awful song.
But it would have been that Andy Williams Christmas special approach.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Don't like that one at
all. But it's all good stuff. But I think we've pretty much covered Christmas. Have you ever seen Graceland lit up at Christmas? Have you ever been?
No, the first time I went was November, but it was about a week or so, 10 days before Thanksgiving. So that's when they started putting the lights up. So I've just missed out on it once or twice. So hopefully, go again and see the lights. That would be quite nice. Regardless of what my feelings about Christmas are, I think that would be the ultimate nice to see, I think, wouldn't it?
I think it would, but it was interesting to speak on a show the other week and have somebody's view of Graceland ain't what it used to be, which was quite interesting. But we should do, before the end of the year, we should do a review of the year, Elvis, and see what we come up with, because it's been a shocking year with the obvious. But we've had some nice Elvis stuff come out. I've had a lot of parcels, including a very strange parcel that came today, which I've just sent you a photograph of.
Oh my goodness!
I've been shopping online. Yeah. I need to put the beer down, and it's just not good, is it? Credit card, beer, and a phone. Things happen. I think we've covered Christmas pretty much there.
Yeah,
I think the black and white footage that we said of his mom throwing the snowballs was filmed and sent to him, wasn't it? To sort of to keep him while he was in the army, wasn't it, or something?
I think so. Yeah.
So that was Christmassy, or what is it? He says Christmas, and that's Memphis for Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas.
I think we've pretty much covered Christmas.
That was splendid, and I really enjoyed. I actually quite enjoyed doing the research, because, like you said, we could listen to Elvis singing anything, and there's some really good gems out there,
And
I think there's
some Silver Bells.
Yeah.
Season's greetings from Talking Elvis, the podcast.
Indeed, there is. So there we go. Happy Christmas, everyone.
Yes, indeed. Happy Christmas. Well, that's another show over. See if we can squeeze another one in between Christmas and the New Year, if the mood takes us. So thanks for listening. Thanks for this year, and see you on the other side. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Find us at www.talkingelvis.co.uk or Facebook or YouTube or Spotify. In fact, any place you get your podcasts. We wish you a rockin' Christmas and a cool Yule.